In a matter of hours to our top story this morning, a former probation officer will be back in front of a judge months after her life sentence was reversed in the murder of a Minneapolis real estate agent. In 2021, Elsa Segura was found guilty on 4 counts for her role in the kidnapping and murder of Monique Bao. Michelle Beck joins us live, revisiting this case and looking ahead to where it goes next. Good morning, Michelle.
Yeah, good morning to you, Alicia. In 3 hours, we'll see Elsa Segura again at a plea hearing because the state's highest court saw that she was entitled to a new trial. Now, for 9 months, Segura's case has been sitting at the status it was at before her criminal trial, the one that led to convictions and ultimately the Minnesota Supreme Court reversing some of them. The state's highest court said prosecutors didn't give sufficient evidence and gave the jury wrong instructions. That's why they threw out Segura's convictions for aiding and abetting premeditated murder and premeditated attempted murder. Since that January ruling, the former probation officer went back to jail to face her remaining count. And Alicia, she has been serving time since the state Supreme Court said the evidence was strong enough to support her 2 other convictions. That's for aiding and abetting murder while kidnapping and kidnapping to commit great bodily harm. Back to you.
All right, Michelle Beck reporting live from the courthouse. Thanks for the update on this case. Developing here in the last 8 hours, we've learned Ernest Morales is out as Metro Transit's police chief. A spokesperson says as of yesterday, he's no longer employed by the Met Council, which oversees Metro Transit. Morales had been on paid leave for over a month. The department has not released details on either of those moves. Morales joined the department in March of last year. Captain Joseph Dotsith, who oversees support services, was named interim chief. This morning, Minneapolis police are moving forward with a new plan that will help curb crime involving teenagers downtown. It's all happening around 5th and Hennepin. Chief O'Hara says that they will now have more MPD officers, Hennepin County deputies, and community organizations patrolling the area. He isn't sure why teens are congregating there, but he says that their presence has contributed to the chaos and resulted in a recent tragedy.
It's too much of a coincidence that we're having these problems with young people at this specific corner, and then 1 week later we have a similar instance of violence, again with teenagers.
Chief O'Hara says MPD will work with the county and community organizations to enforce a curfew. He also says that they're going to be cracking down on food trucks and vendors' licenses because his department has received tips of them selling alcohol to teens. Nationally, the FBI says violent crime is trending down. According to new numbers, violent crime went down 3% overall from 2022 to 2023. Murders are down 12%, the largest drop in decades. That said, though, vehicle thefts have spiked 13%. The report uses numbers from 16,000 law enforcement agencies from across the country. Your time 6:05. We need to catch you up on Hurricane John this morning. Overnight, it weakened to a Category 2 storm. It made landfall about 12 hours ago in southern Mexico as a Category 3 storm. This morning, it's bringing life-threatening flood potential and 120-mile-per-hour winds. We're also following a possible hurricane developing later this week on Florida's Gulf Coast. In the last 24 hours, people have been packing sandbags to prepare for the storm to hit. It comes just weeks after that same area got slammed by Tropical Storm Debbie. And here's a live look of the storm as it's developing in the Caribbean. John's going to track when the storm could hit and how strong it could get in the next 30 minutes. New details are coming out in the last 15 hours in the second assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. During Ryan Ruth's hearing yesterday, prosecutors showed a letter that he allegedly left at someone's house before he was arrested. It said in part, quote, "This was an assassination attempt." The letter was in a box with ammunition and 4 phones. A judge decided Ruth will stay behind bars for now. He's facing 2 weapons charges, but more serious charges could come soon. In 1 week, Governor Walz and Senator J.D. Vance will go head-to-head in their first vice presidential debate. As the two are preparing, sources tell NBC News that Vance is getting some help from Minnesota Representative Tom Emmer, who's taking on the role of Walz during rehearsals. And for Walz's preparation, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg will take on the role of Vance. The debate takes place on October 1st, and you can watch it right here on KARE 11. This morning, KARE Minnesota is calling on Lino Lake City Council member to resign. The council voted to censure Chris Lydon last night over his response to an email that contained multiple anti-Islamic statements. The city's resolution says early last month, Lydon responded to that email saying, quote, "Might be the best email I ever received." CARE Minnesota's executive director says the censure should have happened much sooner.
I don't believe issues that will be presented in front of him where other minorities, including Muslims, are a subject of that matter, he will be fair and partial. And we now know he hasn't even apologized. He hasn't even said he made a mistake. He has doubled down and tripled down.
Leiden rejected claims, saying that in the years on the council and coaching youth sports, no one has ever accused him of being racist. An iconic frozen food delivery service that got its start here in Minnesota is shutting down. Yellow, which spun off of Schwann's, announced that it's shutting down. The company started 72 years ago and at one point was delivering to homes nationwide, but over the last year started to close locations. Labor filings show 176 workers in Minnesota will be laid off. Yellow says that it's going to take orders through November 8th. The company cites economic forces and changing consumer habits as a reason for its closure. Well, Minnesota's making a big move to make our lives a bit healthier. In just a matter of months, a new law will go into effect banning forever chemicals.
I'm Morgan Wolf. From cookware to cosmetics. In less than 100 days, products sold in Minnesota or online won't be allowed to have any trace of the synthetic chemical known as PFAS. The new law goes into effect in January. The forever chemical has been linked to liver and kidney diseases, cancer, and pregnancy complications. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency says that this is a step towards protecting Minnesotans and also helping the economy, since PFAS environmental cleanup is expensive.
Well, it's now officially fall, and that means, unfortunately, sick season is just around the corner. And that's why doctors with the Minnesota Medical Association are urging everyone to get their COVID, RSV, and flu shots. They say that many people feel COVID is a thing of the past, but the CDC says COVID rates right now are the highest since January of 2022. Only around 14% of Minnesotans have the latest COVID booster.